Hey guys, Zim here, back with another Airsoft review. As the title of the video states, we're going to be talking about the Tokyo Marui MP7, the gas blowback edition. Long and short, I'd been wanting one of these for about 4 or 5 years. I've had various teammates have them, and I've watched other people have a blast with them, and I'm a big sucker for the MP7, just in general. So I decided to finally get myself one from Airsoft Direct. Quick segue. If you go to Airsoft Direct's website and use the code below, you'll save yourself 10% on your cart, on everything bar TM riffs. But let's get into the format of the review quickly. As always, we're going to go over a brief history of the real steel counterpart of whatever I'm reviewing, in this case the MP7, followed by my first impressions, a chrono test, a practical accuracy test. Instead of shooting at targets, I have plenty of gameplay compiled, so you'll be able to see it being used in its intended form. And then we're going to go on to my final impressions and my rating out of 10. But without further ado, let's jump onto the Tokyo Marui Gas Blowback MP7 review. Now let's dive into the history of the MP7. The MP7 was designed in the early 90s as there was a need for a small, lightweight personal defense weapon, which also could pierce body armor. The round it uses was purposely made for the MP7. I'm not a gun expert, but I don't think there are many, if any, others that use this caliber. The most notable users of the MP7 are the US Navy SEALs and the British Metropolitan Police. It's mainly used by faster paced units such as the Navy SEALs, as they do a lot of fast paced CQB raid type operations, which the MP7 is perfect for due to its size and weight. Most notably, it has been used in the global war on terror, not just by the Navy SEALs, but mainly by them, as it's just really effective and very quiet when suppressed. Reportedly, the only issue with the MP7 is the bullets are very small and very fast, so it doesn't do much devastation in the body. You might be familiar seeing the MP7 in TV shows and movies such as SEAL Team in the first picture, and also such as movies like RoboCop. Also, it's been in video games such as Medal of Honor and Call of Duty. That's just a brief history of the MP7, the real steel version. Now let's jump on to my first impressions of the Tokyo Marui gas blowback version. Like I said, I'd been wanting one for 4 or 5 years before I actually got one. The only other gas blowback SMGs I'd have had 2 KWA MP9s. They were pretty fun, but they both have a lot of inherent issues which are kind of annoying. They basically have really crappily made trigger bars and they snap because it's essentially a bullpup, because the action is behind the trigger. As I mentioned at the start of the video, a bunch of my teammates over the years have had them and they've always just had a bunch of fun. I, however, never got to use one, so I hadn't actually used one at all, not even shot one of my friends, before I purchased one of my own. I did get the MP7 from Airsoft Direct, however, they didn't send it to me for free. I actually purchased it out of my own money. I bought 4 extra mags with it as well, as I thought, you know, they're, I believe, 48 to 45 rounds. I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure it's 45. I thought I'd need some extra mags, as with gas blowbacks, obviously you have a more realistic round count. When I opened it up out of the box, it has that classic Tokyo Marui plasticky but really good build quality that I'm used to from all of my other Tokyo Marui riffs, so there I wasn't disappointed at all. Also, being Tokyo Marui, it has trades, it has full trades. I don't know how they get away with it because H&K can be a bit funny with that stuff, but Tokyo Marui do it anyway. I was really surprised how balanced it is weight wise. Once you put a magazine in, I mean realistically, the magazine is most of the weight of the gun, let's be honest, as it's made mainly of ABS. But I was very impressed with that. It's got a pretty decent trigger for a gas blowback, although it has a bit of a trigger safety, which I'm not a fan of, but that's more of a me problem. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing about the riff. Loading it up, and putting some shots through it just to test it out and give it a little chrono, I was very surprised. It's very consistent. I was using Neutral green gas when I first tried it out, and it was quite consistent. You can use it with a variety of gases as well. It being Tokyo Marui, it's more rated for the lower pressured gases such as 143 duster gas, but it doesn't mean you can't use green gas. Overall, my first impressions were really good. It took me a minute to figure out the manual of arms. However, I own the Tokyo Marui USP Compact, and the magazine release controls are in exactly the same place on that, so that's obviously just more of a HK thing. So manual of arms wise, didn't have to learn too much. Now let's move on to the Chrono Test. For the Chrono Test, I'm using 0.20 gram BBs, and I'm using 144A gas, which is a lower powered gas. Apologies about a couple of misreads, but as you can see, it's chronoing at the highest 337.5 FPS and at the lowest 330 FPS flat. So that's a total variance of 7.5 feet per second, which is pretty consistent. It's what I expect from anything Tokyo Marui, to be honest with you. Now let's move on to the practical accuracy part of the review. It's just a bunch of cut gameplay from me using the MP7. I just prefer showing practical accuracy, as anyone can shoot a stationary target, whereas it's a lot more difficult to shoot moving targets while you're moving as well. But let's jump into this gameplay.
Got it. Got him. Got that guy. Dreamboat!
Where are you peeking? Got him, got one.
Nice.
As you can see, not the longest range shots, but for something that is gas blowback and has a smaller barrel, it's pretty accurate. I've always been pretty happy with its performance. It's still stock as well. I generally tend to run everything stock until something or some things break. But overall, I'm really happy with its accuracy on the move and pushing buildings and even making some more longer range shots. Which now moves nicely onto my final impressions and my rating out of 10. I'm very impressed with the Tokyo Marui MP7. I kind of knew I would like it as I'm a smaller guy and I wanted to get into gas blowbacks, and the MP7 just seemed to make more sense to me rather than getting like a full-sized M4. No matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, out of the box the MP7 is great for either, unlike some other offerings where you have to get a third-party upgrade or external parts to make it more ambidextrous, so it gets bonus points for that. The manual of arms also is quite similar to most other HK pistols, for example, so manual of arms is pretty easy to pick up if, like me, you already use HK sidearms. In a nutshell, it's a nice, lightweight, compact package which is very consistent and pretty decently accurate too. I just can't fault it. The only thing that I could see that would be a con for most people is the fact that the Tokyo Marui MP7 isn't an exact 1-to-1 scale replica of the MP7. There are offerings from VFC which are actually 1-to-1 scale, and the Marui MP7 is slightly smaller, but for someone of my height and stature, that's actually a bonus. I can't really think of any issues I've had. The first game I took it to, it was in the winter, so I actually ran a HPA adapter, which was very easy to set up, by the way. But I didn't put enough PSI through the rig, and I did get 1 or 2 jams because the bolt wasn't able to cycle fully. That was my issue and not the issue of the MP7, and I was also not using it in its stock form technically. So the only thing left to do is give you my rating out of 10. No surprise, this is going to be a very highly rated product. I give the Tokyo Marui Gas Blowback MP7 a whopping 10 out of 10 pews. I just can't fault it. It definitely is a riff I'm going to be using for a very long time. Let me know what you think of the Tokyo Marui MP7, if this helped you and it helped you make your mind up about getting one, or if you don't like them too, and the reasons why. But this is Sim is Dim. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review or gameplay.